ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We begin by praising Allah, we praise Him and we seek His help and we ask for His forgiveness. And we take refuge with Allah from the evil of ourselves and from the evil consequence of our evil actions. Anyone whom Allah guides, no one can misguide, and anyone whom Allah leaves to go astray, no one can guide. And I testify that Allah alone is worthy of worship, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and His messenger. The first thing I want to ask you is a question about this masjid. Is there a structural problem with the mosque? That the walls are going to fall down? No? So why are you all supporting the walls of the mosque?
I think that's a sign that you need to
See, yeah, brothers. Yeah. If you've got a bad back, or the mosque is going to fall down. You have a bad back here? You have a bad back? Well, come and sit here. No, brothers, really, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Every nation of people is known by its customs. Yes or no? Every group of people has customs, they have manners, they have etiquettes. And you can identify groups of people by these customs and manners and etiquettes. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. In my background, where I come from a what we call upper middle class. Upper middle class. Yeah? Etiquettes are designed in order to make divisions between people, so that you will know who are the high class people from the low class people. So we will have a certain manner of eating, a certain manner of drinking, a certain manner of talking, and if you do not know how to eat that way and drink that way and talk that way, we will know that you are from the lower classes. So the purpose of these manners and these customs is to divide people. Yeah? So we find throughout the world people have different customs and they have different manners and they have different habits. Yeah? So we have some customs and habits and manners that are supposed to identify us as Muslims. Now let me ask you a question. These customs and habits and manners, where are they from? What is the source of this information? Huh? From? Okay, and where? Okay, so and where did Rasulullah get this information from? He made it up for himself? Huh? He got it from Allah. Who is Allah? Huh? The Creator. Is Allah ignorant or is He knowing everything? Are you sure? Okay. So do you think that the information that comes from Allah is important, or no, I take it or leave it, maybe, yeah, if I feel like it. Yeah? What do you think? Huh? It's very important. Okay. I'll tell you, brothers and sisters, may Allah have mercy upon you. I had a dream when I first became Muslim. I wanted so much to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in my dream. And because I used to be a lot with Sufis, So in some of their books they would say, if you make salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ like 10,000 times in one day, you will see the Prophet in your dreams. You know, I would try so hard to make this 10,000 salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ. I would try so hard, yeah. I just couldn't figure how anyone could do this. So but I really wanted to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah, I saw the Prophet in my dream. It was a very, I saw a dream, and I saw a dream of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I tell you the dream I had. Yeah. I was sitting with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was sitting he was sitting in the middle of a semicircle. Yeah. So he was sitting, and the people around him, they were all dressed in white with a turban. And as the Prophet saw, he had his, the beard. His beard was large, and his face, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was like the moon. Yeah. And just as you read the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I was sitting in this circle, and this circle was in the middle of a forest. So it was a clearing in the forest. And they were sitting in this clearing in the forest. And I really wanted to go to the bathroom, really bad. You know, when you're just, I want to go. And the Prophet ﷺ, he could see I was, in discomfort. So he didn't say anything to me, he just pointed. He pointed to me, to some bushes, as if to say to me, go over there. That's where you need to go. But I went to the bushes, and I thought, I'm too close, too close to the Prophet, too close to I feel uncomfortable, So I started to walk, to try to find something that was a bit further away. And I walked, and I couldn't find anything. And when I came back, all the trees and all the bushes, everything had gone. And the Prophet and everybody had gone. But all I could remember is, I wish I listened to the Prophet ﷺ. Why didn't I just do what he said? And subhanAllah, this was a big thing for me. Because what I understood from this is that when the Prophet ﷺ, he is telling you the smallest thing, he's not speaking from his desires. This is something that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From His wisdom, from His knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even the small things, I remember, and so I subhanAllah, you used to find me, hopefully I'm still strict in following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People will say, oh, why are you talking about these small things? Who cares whether you grow the beard? The beard is in your heart. MashaAllah, the beard's in your heart. You must have a hairy chest. So, why are you talking about the beard? This is a small thing. The ummah have so many problems. We need to establish the khilafah. MashaAllah, brother. Let me ask you, if you can't grow your beard, how are you going to establish khilafah? Think about it. If you can't do a small thing, how will you do a big thing? Is this logic or not? No. It's logic to me. If you can't do a small thing, how will you do a big thing? If you can't follow a small thing in Islam, an easy small thing, how will you do something big? Brothers, I find this problem whenever I go to give a talk. And I don't make this issue when I give a talk in a theatre, lecture theatre, but in a masjid. I don't see you following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I would be lying if I said I'm going to guess that you are divided as a community. I would be lying if I guessed, because this is information that came to me. But even if it didn't, if I come and I see you all sitting, spread out, then you are people, shaitan has got hold of you. Did I say this? No. Rasulullah said this. Once when the Prophet ﷺ, he went out on one of the expeditions, the companions, they camped in a valley. And some of them sat here, some of them sat there, some of them they sat in different places. And the Prophet ﷺ, he called them. He said, your spreading out is from shaitan. Your spreading out is from shaitan. So the companions of the Prophet, they came together. And they used to sit so closely together, that if you spread a cloth over their head, it will not touch the floor. So that's the manners of the Muslims. Am I talking to Muslims? Yes or no? So, you act on the saying of the Prophet, or you just sit there? Yallah, come on. Behave like Muslims. Sit, come on, close. Well, I'm going to sleep. Sit close. Wallah, there's a gap there. Fill the gap. Come on. Give me. Come on, guys. Here. That's it. Yeah, close. Alhamdulillah. Wallah, I feel happy. Do you feel close now?
Alhamdulillah.
Do you feel close? You feel as brothers, you feel more close? Wallah, you see, I like to study psychology. It's one of my favorite subjects to study psychology. And I found something really amazing. They did an experiment in the United States of America. They did an experiment. Yeah? In this experiment, they wanted to find out the effect of physical movements on a person's thinking. How will the way that you move and the actual physical movements that you do affect your thinking and affect your mindset? So they did this amazing experiment. What they did is they got two groups of students in a university to listen to a lecture. And this lecture, the purpose of this lecture was to persuade you to pay more money for your fees. Now what do you think? Huh? Yeah, you want to pay more money for your university fees, yes or no? No way, right? But the purpose of this was to persuade. So anyway, this is what they did. They had two groups. Well, they had three. Usually, to do a proper experiment, you have three groups, because one will be a control group, what they call a control group. Okay? So they had these groups. One group is listening to the lecture. Another group, they told them, they put on the headphones, so they listened to the lecture, and they said, we just need to check that the headphones are working. So can you please just shake your head like this? Yeah? Like this. Yeah? So they were shaking it. And another group, they said, can you shake your heads like this, please, just to check the headphones working? Yeah? So this is the making the yes, nodding, yes, and the other one, unless you're Japanese. It's confusing, right? Yes, no. So anyway, obviously my Japanese students, yeah. So this is, yeah, yes. So now, it's not shocking that the people who, yeah, they listen to the no, and also the control group, they didn't make them do anything. Yeah. So this group, 70% something, 80, 90%, they said no, we don't agree to have the school fees raised. Some small percentage agreed. Yeah. But what was shocking is the group that nodded their head beforehand, something like 60 to 70% agreed to have their school fees raised. So what this shows is the connection between the physical things that you do and the mentality that you have. Now, this is things that the psychologists and the scientists, they're beginning to discover. But this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knew when He created us. And this is something that is a secret that we find that Allah He gave to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I will give you some proof of this. Yeah? What the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did he say? Straighten the lines and Allah will do what? Straighten the lines and Allah will straighten your hearts. How will straightening the line straighten your hearts? What's the connection between a straight line and your heart? This is the reality. This is the reality. If your lines are straight, your hearts will be straight. The Prophet ﷺ told us to stand shoulder to shoulder, feet to feet. Yeah? So what? So what will not happen? So? Say shaitan will not come between you. Yeah? You see? These are the things. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, your spreading out is from shaitan. This is the etiquette of the Muslim. That we should sit together. We should be close together. Because this, us sitting together and being close together brings closeness in our hearts. Yeah?
What about the sisters? Nobody.
Well, I can't see the sisters in inshallah, so hopefully the sisters did the same thing, inshallah. Yeah. And you weren't supposed to interrupt, you said that yourself. Toba. In the Indian subcontinent. So, brothers, and this is not my talk, but I get disappointed every time I come into a masjid and I'm giving a talk and people are sitting all over the place. And we wonder why the Muslims are disunited. We wonder why people say, oh, we need a talk on unity, brother. Unity. I mean, you know, honestly, sometimes the solution for unity is very simple things. Sit together. Sit close together. It will bring unity in your hearts. Huh? Alhamdulillah. So anyway, the talk I've been asked to give is about talking to non-Muslims about Islam. This is a very, 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 very important topic. Actually, this topic is so important, I believe that the reason, no, that's exaggeration. I believe one of the reasons, one of the biggest reasons, the Ummah is in a disaster and has been in a disaster for hundreds of years is because this obligation has been forgotten. Even if people, they are aware of it, they do not practice it. People have forgotten the obligation of calling people who are not yet Muslim to Islam. If you want to see how sick the Ummah of Muhammad is, just listen to the talks of many scholars and many imams. They will give a long lecture on whether you must raise your hands and make Rafa Deen or not. Whether you should put your hands on, Allahu Akbar, you should put your hands on your chest or your waist or your side. Whether you should point the finger or wiggle the finger. Shall the Taraweeh be 8 rak'ah or 20 rak'ah or 30 something rak'ah? I don't even know. Or 40. Yeah, long lectures. People will fight over these things. They will fight each other over these things. Yet wallahi, most of these things do not even affect the validity of your salah. Whether you make rafa'ideen or not does not affect the validity of your salah. Whether you hold your hands here or there does not affect the validity of your salah. Whether you point the finger, wiggle the finger, you don't even move the finger, does not affect the validity of your salah. So we're spending hours and hours and books and arguments about something that does not even affect the validity of our salah. Yet, next door to us and across the street from us are people who we have lived with for 20, 30 years and we never told them the message of Islam. What is this nonsense? What is this rubbish? Is this what is Islam? We Muslims have been so busy for the last 700 years fighting each other and arguing with each other about things that, subhanallah, on the day of judgment, what is it going to mean? Nothing. Yet the obligation, the fard, the very thing which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he gave his entire life to what? To call the people to La ilaha illallah. I want you to think about something, brothers. This is very interesting. Right? If you okay, I'm sure everybody here, everybody here, inshallah, I hope so, will agree that the Quran, what is the purpose and what is the reason for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealing the Quran? You tell me. Huda lil-muttaqin. Jazakallah khair. Guidance alif lam mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين ألف لام ميم. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. This is the book without doubt. هدى للمتقين. The Quran is a book of guidance. Yeah, book of guidance. So guidance, what does guidance mean? What does guidance mean? Huda, what's it mean? What does it mean? Tell me, please. Oh, come on, guys. What? Yeah, some of you are university students.
Taking somebody to the right path. Taking somebody to the right path.
Okay.
You guide a blind man.
Yeah.
When you guide a blind man trying to take him from point A to
point B.
Okay.
So it's taking someone upon the right path, as opposed to misguidance. Yeah. So it's taking you on the right path to help you reach your destination. Yes? Our destination that we want to reach is, what is the destination we want to reach? Is Jannah. Yeah? So the Quran is guidance to help us to go to Jannah. Yeah? Okay. So, one of the things that we find the Quran talks about a lot is stories of the prophets. Yes? Stories of the prophets, yeah? But not stories like bedtime stories. Okay, I shall go to bed now. I will tell you the story. Once upon a time, once upon a time, there was a prophet called Yunus. And the whale ate him. And oh daddy, tell me the story of, Musa again. This is stories. No, it's not supposed to be bedtime stories. Like fairy stories. No. We should really say history. These are not stories like, if I say stories in English, you probably think fairy stories. bedtime stories. No, no, no. This is history. And history with a purpose. The purpose of this history that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, this history is for what? To do what? For us to do what? To
teach us.
To teach us to learn from, so that we can be guided. So the stories of the prophets, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us these stories so we can do what? We can follow their example, right? That's what the purpose of guidance, you just said, brother, to get a blind man from A to B, yeah? So to follow the example. Okay. Let's think about this. If we think about now, if I want to describe to you a pious man, let me think about it. Well, of course he will pray 5 times a day. Definitely, yes. And if he's pious, he will pray in the masjid for all 5 prayers. Yeah? Definitely. Alhamdulillah. He will read Quran every day. He will memorize Quran. Yes? Okay. Inshallah, he will give lots of sadaqah. Yeah? And, you know, he will also practice zuhud. You know zuhud? He will care about dunya and things of the world. Yeah? And he will make lots of dhikr. Yeah? Yes? And he will pray tahajjud. Yes? And he will pray lots of nawafil salah. Yes? And he will look after the orphans and the poor and the needy and, yeah? Sounds like a good pious man? Okay. I want you to think about the story of Nuh alayhi salam. Can anyone explain to me and give me details of the salah of Nuh from the Quran? How much did Nuh alayhi salam pray? Can you tell me about his tahajjud? Or his dhikr? Or his zuhud? Or his social welfare program? Maybe? Can you? No, nothing? Nothing at all? Astaghfirullah. Huh? Huh?
So much.
No, but it doesn't tell us. Yeah. So what do we know about Nuh alayhi salam from the Quran? Really, the only thing of course, we know he prayed and he must have been very good, and we know that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not emphasizing these things in the Quran. This is hudda lil muttaqeen. The Quran, these are the stories of the prophets who are supposed to inspire us and motivate us into action. And what is Allah telling us about in the Quran? He's telling us about their what? Dawah. You know, it's amazing. Some of you brothers, mashallah, you've been here for 6 years, 7 years, 5 years, 3 years. Mashallah, you've come to the mosque. Maybe you come, mashallah, every single, for all the salah. You will fast the Ramadan, you will, mashallah. I wonder how much dawah you have done in the years you've been here. Which book are you reading? The same book as me? You reading the Quran? And not just Nuh alayhi salam. How about Ibrahim? Most of the story of Ibrahim, really, most of the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam that you will remember. With his father, with his people. He smashes the idols. Remember that? Oh my people. Yeah? This is the God. He points to the stars. Then the moon comes. No, this is the bigger one. Then the sun comes. No, this is the one. Then the sun goes. No. How can we worship these things that they come and they go? This is the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Dawah. Yunus. Dawah. Salih. Dawah. Lut. Dawah. Musa. Dawah. Where's the dawah, brothers? No. I tell you, if you look at the Muslims today, if you are a kafir looking at the Muslims and you say, let me think. I want to figure out the Muslims, yeah? What is their Quran about? Now, I'm not going to read the Quran, I just want to look at the Muslims and I'm going to guess. Yeah? Or the Muslims, the non-Muslims will say, I think maybe 50%, at least 50% of the Quran must be about halal meat. Yeah, it must be like 50% halal meat, halal meat, halal meat. Yeah? Seriously. And then maybe the other 30% is about, getting a second wife. If you talk with the brothers. And if you talk with the sisters, not getting a second wife. Seriously guys, come on. I mean, we're laughing, but seriously, if you're non-Muslim, looking at the Muslims, would you guess that maybe one of the strongest themes of the Quran, maybe I would suggest, after At-Tawheed and Akhirah, the strongest theme of the Quran is da'wah. You will never guess that by looking at the Muslims. Never. There's a brother, Robert, back in Vancouver. He says Islam is the best kept secret. The best kept secret, that's what he calls it, the best kept secret. We live in our ghettos, we hide away, we hide the book of Allah. Wallahi, we hide this book. We hide it. We bury the book of Allah, buried in this mosque. But I want to talk about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. First of all, I want a hands up. Who loves Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? MashaAllah. It's very easy to put your hand up. We know it's very easy. MashaAllah. Okay, look. Wait, I haven't finished yet. Alright? If you love the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam more than your father and your mother and your brothers and sisters, keep your hand up. Okay. MashaAllah, one brother, maybe he's honest and put his hand down. Okay. No, maybe he's actually honest because he knows what's coming. Yeah? So keep your hand up, right? If you love the Prophet, and I'm saying this next year, the hardest things come afterwards. If you love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than your business, because I know there's some people that will sell their mother and their father and their children for their business. Yes? So keep your hand up. Now, I might test you with this. You will be tested with this. Yeah. So how about your homes? You love the Prophet more than your homes? How about your own self? You love the Prophet more than yourself? Alright. Okay. And you know you have to put your hands up, right? No, but you could put your hand down and say, you know what? It doesn't mean you're a kafir. It doesn't mean you're a disbeliever. It just means your iman is deficient. Yeah? Because when Umar ibn al-Khattab came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I love you more than everything and everyone except myself. The Prophet said, no, you must love me more than yourself. So after some time Umar came back, he said, okay, I love you more than myself. Then he said, now you've perfected your iman. But he didn't say before, Umar, you're kafir. You don't love me more than yourself. No. Right? You could be honest. You could say, you know what? I know I should love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than my mother and my father. And I know I should love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than my business and myself. But you know what? I really know that I don't. And I don't think you do. Honestly, I don't think you love the Prophet more sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than your wife and your children and your business. I don't think you love the Prophet more than yourself. I think you putting your hands up was being dishonest. And here's the proof. Here's the proof. I want you to think about what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went through in his life. I want you to think about what he's suffered. What he's suffered. So that you could be a Muslim. So that you could feel the joy and the happiness and you could taste the sweetness of Iman. I want you to think about what he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the humiliation, the abuse, the difficulties that he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went through. I want you to think about how in Mecca, Abu Lahab and his wife used to throw thorns. His own uncle used to throw thorns in his path. Thorns. I got a small little, some stitchy little thing in my foot today, walking in the mall. I don't know what it was. How I got in my foot. I couldn't walk. I mean, thorns. Thorns in your foot. Throwing thorns. People throwing rubbish on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People beating up the Prophet, strangling the Prophet, throwing the entrails of a camel on the back of the Prophet while he's praying. And his little daughter Fatima, she's coming and scraping this filth off his back, and she's wagging her finger and telling off the leaders of Quraysh as they're rolling on the floor crying with laughter, thinking this is so funny. This is what he went through to bring you and me Islam. What did he go through? More than that, brothers. Much more than that. He went through being boycotted. Not only him, but his whole tribe, Banu Hashim. They were put in a valley for 2 years. They used to have to eat leaves from the trees. Leaves from the trees. In Mecca. Not in Victoria or in Vancouver, in Mecca. The heat, imagine the heat. Imagine. And no one could marry from them. No one could buy with them. No one could trade with them. Subhanallah. And he was offered, we'll make you our king. You want to be our king? We'll make you our king. King. You want to be the richest man amongst us? We'll make you. You want women? Name the women, they will be yours. He was offered everything, but he didn't accept. This is fitna as well. This is a test. This is a difficulty. I want you to think about the battle of Uhud. The battle of Uhud, where because some Muslims, they disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ and they left their position, what happened? There was a time when there was only 10 companions, and one of them was a woman who was defending the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet fell in a ditch. He fell down. Our Prophet fell ﷺ in a ditch, and he was hit. So the plates of the helmet, the armor of his helmet, went into his cheek and were buried in his cheekbones. And his tooth was chipped. This is the Prophet ﷺ. This is what he went through, so that you could know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and taste the beauty of Islam. And these and so many other difficulties. But do you know which day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what was your hardest day? What was your hardest day? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, my hardest day was the day I went to Ta'if. My hardest day was the day I went to Ta'if. You know, I thought about this. Why? Look at all the things. You read the life of the Prophet. Why Ta'if? I mean, surely Uhud or Ibrahim dying in his arms. His little boy, Ibrahim, dying. I mean, but why Ta'if is so hard? And I thought about this. I don't know why, for sure, 100%. But this is what I thought. I thought because, first of all, a prophet cannot leave preaching to his people without the permission of Allah. This is what got Ayub into trouble. Yunus into trouble, not Ayub. Yunus. Yunus, why did Yunus? He was swallowed by the fish because he left preaching to his people without permission from Allah. So the only way the Prophet ﷺ could leave Mecca and go to Taif, because Allah gave him permission. So I'm imagining, I don't know Allahu Alam, I'm imagining the Prophet is thinking, Allah is giving me permission to go to Taif because the people of Taif are going to accept Islam. That's what I think. He must be thinking, they're going to accept Islam. That's why Allah is giving me permission. They will protect Islam, they will protect the message. So, he must have been, this is what I'm thinking, why it was so hard? Because his optimism, I'm guessing, was so high. But when he went to Taif, brothers, what happened? They rejected him. Yeah, the leaders, they didn't want except one leader, and when this leader met him, he just made fun of him. Now, according to some books of Seerah, brothers, sisters, the Prophet ﷺ spent 10 days knocking on the door of every single house in Taif. Every single house, 10 days. And not one single person accepted Islam. Not one. Then the Prophet ﷺ left. Can you imagine how he's feeling now? But this is not the end. This is not the end of the ordeal. The leaders, they tell the children, the street urchins, to start throwing stones at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the one, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you said you loved him more than your mother and your children and your family and your business and your home. That's what you said. You put your hand up. You said it. Remember this. You said it. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is being stoned. The one you said you loved more than your own mother, he's being stoned. How about if your mother is being stoned? How about you if your sister is being stoned? How about you if your business is being destroyed? You're going to be more upset by this. And the blood is flowing down. The blood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is flowing down his body and his sandals. And the dust is making the sandals stick to his feet. And he reaches the bottom of the mountain. Where Taif is in the mountains, he reaches the bottom. So, then Jibreel comes to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Jibreel says, "Oh Muhammad, just give the command. Just say so. And the angel of the mountains will crush and destroy this, will bring the mountains down and destroy this place, Taif. Just say it." And what does Rasulullah say? He says, "No, don't do that. Because maybe from their offspring, from their descendants will be people who will be guided to Islam." What I want you to think about, brothers and sisters, think about this. The story of this, if you understand, is how the Prophet ﷺ, his concern for da'wah, his concern for the message of Islam to reach the people, this is all he cared about. He wanted the people to accept Islam. All of this he went through was so that the people would accept Islam. Now I ask you, what have you done for da'wah? This is the love the Prophet had for da'wah. What have you done? Have you knocked on the doors of every single person in Victoria? Wallahi, brothers, uqsum billah, sisters, if you do it, if the people start to stone you, you can phone the police and the police will arrest them. But we love Rasulullah, we love Rasulullah, we love Rasulullah. Oh, Rasulullah, we love you. Yeah. Really? We love you more brothers, really? We love you more than our business. Give your business for dawah then. Give it! The Prophet ﷺ gave everything. Khadija gave everything. The Prophet ﷺ, he had nothing but dates and water for months in his house. A man would come to the Prophet ﷺ and he would say, give me Muhammad. The Prophet said, you see? He would say, you see that valley? He would point to the valley, the hill. He would see, and it's covered in sheep. He would say, you see that? He said, yes, take everything, take it. The man took it, he went back to his people, he said, oh my people, embrace Islam. Embrace Islam. Because Muhammad gives with no fear of poverty. Embrace Islam. See, the Prophet ﷺ. So you said you love the Prophet more than your business. Give your business then. Give it for dawah. Not to build a fancy masjid with a nice carpet and oh, it's very beautiful. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. The Prophet's mosque was what? He used to have, when they wanted to bring wood from Lebanon, he said, no, don't do it. Mud and the palm leaves. We'll spend £1,000 on £1,000? No, $100,000 to build a minaret and put a green dome. A'udhu billah. What you spend on dawah, calling the people to Islam. People look at me, I don't mean this mosque, mashallah, but believe me, I have seen mosques, I know for a fact, these mosques frighten the kuffar away. They're terrified. They look at these mosques, and I know, in England, the English people say, I look at that and I say, and it says to me, go away, you're not welcome here. Yeah, no, it's not funny though. Because you know what we thought? We thought, okay, let's go to England and we will try to recreate Pakistan in England. Yeah, we want to make a little village of Pakistan back in England. Yeah? And you know what? When the people do become Muslim, and the English people, they go into these masjids, subhanAllah, they say, I don't feel welcome there. It's alien, I'm frightened, I'm scared. And these are the same people, oh, we love Rasulullah. We love him so much. Really? Where's dawah? Where's the dawah? So, you know, I want you to measure yourself against the Quran. Hudan lil-muttaqeen. I want you to measure yourself against the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want you to measure yourself against the many, many verses of the Quran that order you to give dawah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ هذه سبيلي عبد الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني. Say, O Muhammad, هذه سبيلي. This is my way. هذه سبيلي. What is my way? What is the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What is the sabil of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What is it? عبد الله. I invite to Allah, to la ilaha illallah. That's the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ana, me, wa man attaba'ani. And me, and those who follow me, meaning if you follow the Prophet, you also invite to Allah. Man ahsanu qawla mimma da'a ila Allah. Who is better in speech than the one who invites to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No one, meaning no one is better in speech than the one who invites to Allah. No one. There is no speech that is better than the one that is inviting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But where is the dawah? A sheikh came to see me many years ago when I was speaking in a place called Speaker's Corner. You can still see some of those footage from those days on YouTube of me giving speeches in Speaker's Corner. A sheikh came to see me. His name is Sheikh Muhammad ibn Ismail. He's from Alexandria, Egypt, Africa. May Allah preserve him. And this is one sheikh. You will find many sheikhs, they will talk dawah. Yes, dawah is important. Dawah is, take that one, dawah is important. But they don't give dawah. You don't hear them giving dawah, you don't see them, they're not involved in dawah, they just say it. So many people, yes, dawah, dawah, dawah. Where's the dawah? Dawah for them is just giving a talk to some Muslims. They think this is dawah. It's not that. This is tarbiyah, this is islah. I don't think we should call it da'wah. It's important. But the Prophet ﷺ never ever stopped calling the non-Muslims to Islam. He never stopped calling them to Islam. This idea that no, we need to concentrate on the Muslims first, this is not Islam. This is not the Prophet ﷺ. He never taught that. And this is the thing, and this is the irony, is that it's only when you get involved. You see, when you start calling non-Muslims to Islam, that itself is something that will rectify and improve the situation of the Muslims. Believe me. That's what I said. I said one of the major causes, I'm not saying one of the major causes. There are others, like shirk, and practicing magic, and fortune telling, and bid'ah. So many things corrupted the Muslims, but one of the problems, we don't give da'wah to the Muslims anymore. We've forgotten this. Because this activity itself is something that will revive our iman. This activity itself will revive us. And this is what you see. When you see the brothers who are involved in da'wah to non-Muslims, you will find they are arguing less, they are bickering less, they are less concerned about are you a Wahhabi or you are a Deobandi or you are a Hanafi or a Maliki or a Shafi'i. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Why? Because you know what? You spend enough time talking to non-Muslims, right? You realize that the difference between you and a non-Muslim is so big that the difference between you and your Muslim brother, whether you wiggle your finger or you don't, you make this tone, it's nothing. Nothing. You realize it's nothing, but you only realize this when you're involved in da'wah. When you see how lost these people are, when you begin to see how lost they are, you ask them a simple thing: what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? What are your eyes for, or to see? What's your ears for, to hear? What's my, what's the pen for, to write? Why do you exist? Why do human beings exist? Good question. That's lost. How lost do you want? How lost do you want someone to be? That's lost. Yeah? They're very lost. I know they have nice cars and nice houses, and you drive through uplands and you think, oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah? This is just illusions. It's illusions. Their hearts are empty. Really, believe me, their hearts are empty. They're very sad people. They're very sad people. They're trying to fill their empty lives with all of these things, but their lives are empty. They have no direction. They don't know. All they just see is this dunya, and it never makes them happy. The more they have, the more they want. They will never be happy. It will never satisfy them. So, brothers and sisters, this issue of da'wah is very, very important. It is something we have neglected, we have forgotten it. So as the Sheikh said to me, when he came to see me in Speaker's Corner and he listened to me, I learned two very important things. First of all, he spent the afternoon listening to me and he said something very nice. He said, Abdurraheem, what you're doing is very important. He said, do not leave this da'wah even if the Khilafah is established. If you're having success, even if the Khilafah is established, do not leave the da'wah, calling these non-Muslims to Islam. And he said, the second thing he said to me is that the reward you are getting is more than praying in the haram every single day. He said, you know the proof of that? How many Sahaba died in Mecca and Medina? How many? Most of them, no. Most of them, they left and they went to do what? They knew the virtues of Mecca better than you and me. They knew the virtues of Medina better than you and me. But you will find their graves everywhere. Because they went for what? They went for da'wah. Wallahi. They didn't go to conquer land. They didn't fight because they wanted to capture territory and they wanted more conquest and they wanted, no, not at all. Because when Rustam, the Persian general, when he called the Muslims, he wanted to speak to the Muslims, and the Muslims, who did they send? They sent Rabi'a, and he went. And he said, why are you fighting us? You want camels? You want sheep? What do you want? Money? We'll give it back to you. Go back to the desert. He said, we have come to take people away from the worship of men to the worship of Allah. We have come to take them away from the injustice of man-made religion to the justice of Islam. We have come to take them away from the narrowness of this life to the vast expanse of this life and the next. In other words, they were not fighting for money or territory or fame or conquest or no. They wanted the people to be able to accept Islam. It was for da'wah. That's the reason. Only so the people could know La ilaha illallah. Now these days, brothers, you don't have to fight anyone. You don't have to fight. You don't have to fight, mashallah. It is so easy to give da'wah. So easy to give da'wah. We can fly from one end of the earth to the other in 24 hours. You can pick up the phone, you can be speaking to someone on the other end of the planet almost instantaneously, milliseconds. On the internet, you can talk to what? 50, 60, 70 million human beings. You have the potential to reach them. And we live in countries and societies where everything is open. You can just go and talk to a person, knock on their door. No one is going to, even if they, like I said, if they stone you, you can call the police to protect you. What excuse do you have? What excuse do you have? Really? Or you don't speak English? What, did Rabi'a speak Persian? Did the Muslims speak Chinese? Did the Sahaba speak Chinese when they went to China? Did they? Did they speak Latin and Greek? No. SubhanAllah. Brothers, there are very too many excuses. Actually, our total priority in the West is da'wah. This is the priority. If you are living here, this should be the top one on your agenda, even before halal meat, because you can eat fish and vegetables, right? Yeah? It's not haram to not eat meat. Yeah? It's like no meat today, haram. No. But not to give da'wah, that's haram. That's haram. That is no excuse for that. So my brothers, the first thing and sisters is we have to understand is how important da'wah is. Secondly, how should we give da'wah? Yeah, it's very simple. I don't need a long talk how to give da'wah. It's very simple. The Prophet ﷺ said, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Convey from me, even if you know one ayah and you understand it, this is proof you do not need to be a scholar, you do not need to be an alim, an imam, a sheikh, a fully trained, fully up da'i. You don't need to be. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday, brothers. Yeah, we were there. Yesterday we were in Vancouver, right? Believe me, brothers. Believe me and sisters, yeah. There was, I want to think of, I don't know the sister's name. There was one sister, she was with us. MashaAllah, the sister was on the street. We had three, maybe four sisters in niqab, MashaAllah, giving down. One sister, MashaAllah, she was telling us about a conversation. The woman was saying, oh, Muslim women are oppressed. She said, I speak French, I speak English, I speak Arabic, I have a degree, and my husband looks after me. I'm not oppressed. This woman didn't know what to say, you know. I thought, subhanAllah. And there was one sister, she kept saying, this woman, she was saying to me this, and I didn't know, I'm not really sure what to say. So anyway, she's talking to one Christian woman, and the Christian woman, I was actually watching I didn't hear the conversation, but I was watching. So she was an old lady, and she was so sweet, and she was saying, anyway, she told me afterwards what she was saying. So she said, but I'm a Christian, and I need to read my Bible first, and if I start looking at other religions, I need to concentrate on my own religion. So the sister comes to me and she says, well, she said that to me, what should I say to her, right? So I'm going, that's a really, that's a good thing, right? I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You should study your religion. I didn't even know. I'm this Abdurraheem, 6 years of dawah experience, right? I'm thinking, I don't even know, what would you say to that, right? And then she said, and then the sister said to me, this sister who came to our dawah training course the day before, she'd never given dawah before, right? She said, you know what I said to her? I said, sometimes it's good to open the window and let some fresh air in. I said, wow, you said that? I said, that's really good. And well, it just shows. I said, you see, I told you, you don't need a lot of knowledge to give da'wah. You don't. It's just common sense. But what we do teach people, and what we do say, is one of the things you should not do, is get carried away with trying to explain all these little details in Islam. Why do you wear hijab? Why do you chop the hands off the thief? Why you drink alcohol? Yeah? Why are you Muslims this? Why you this? Why you that? And this is exactly what the Sheikh Muhammad, he said to me. Because that's what I was doing. People were saying to me, oh, you Muslims this, how come this? And I was answering all these questions. He said, this is not the right way to do that. It's not the right way to do that. And I'm sure most of you, your dawah conversations, they're like that. Just anything you think about. Yeah, we Muslims, we fast Ramadan. Yeah. Oh yes, we Muslims, we slaughter the animal and the kingdom. It's like, what? It's like, come on, guys, right? It's like anything you can think of, you say it. Yeah? Okay, maybe good. It's good, you just say it, but listen. Okay? You have to think about the non-Muslim. There's priorities in dawah. Yeah? The priority in dawah is to call to Allah. Yeah? قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. You're supposed to be calling to La ilaha illallah. Aisha, she said, the Prophet ﷺ did not begin by saying to the people, do not fornicate. Because the people would have said, we will never stop fornicating. And the Prophet ﷺ did not say to the people, stop drinking alcohol. Because they would have said, we will never stop drinking alcohol. But the first thing that he called them to, really, is what? It was Tawheed, Akhirah, Risala. This is what the Prophet ﷺ told the people to. So you must concentrate on this. You must concentrate on getting the people to understand that Allah exists, that Allah is one, that He is unique, that He is different from the creation, that the Quran is from Allah and that Muhammad is the Prophet. And think about it. If they accept this, if they accept that the Quran is from Allah and that Muhammad is the Prophet, they will have to accept everything the Quran says. Yes or no? It's the logic here. You see? So why waste your time talking about this and this thing and the hijab and the pork and the alcohol and the Ramadan and the 5 times a day and the beard and whatever else, right? No. Don't. You shouldn't talk about these things. You need to bring it back to Tawheed. This is the reality. This is the right way to give da'wah. Because even if you can convince your English teacher to wear hijab, is it going to save her from hellfire if she's still an atheist or a Christian? No. So why bother talking about it then? Talk about the essence of Islam. You don't want to, it's not the furu, you're not talking about the branches, you must talk about the roots. Yeah? This is how is the right way to live and to talk to non-Muslims about Islam. If you want to find more, you can go to our website, Mission Dawah, called missiondawah.org or missiondawah.com. Missiondawah.com. Yeah, and you will see a series of videos on our method that we teach, and this is what we told the brothers and sisters before they went the day before. On Monday we taught them, and then Tuesday we went to the streets to give down. You can see it on there. Or inshallah, if Allah brings me back, or we will send maybe a brother, inshallah, or maybe a few brothers, maybe they can come and do a dawah training course here in the
أفمن شرح الله صدره للإسلام فهو على نور من ربه فويل للقاسية قلوبهم من ذكر الله